You're about to hear a story that will leave you questioning what strength truly means. Before we begin, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because stories like this remind us all that courage has no color, and that sometimes the quietest fighters carry the loudest power. The sound of sneakers scuffing across the polished dojo floor echoed through the late afternoon air. The sunlight streamed through the high windows, painting golden bars on the mats where students stretched and whispered. Two new faces stood by the door. Tall, slender 13-year-old twins, Jaden and Jordan Miles, their deep brown eyes steady but unsure. They were dressed in crisp white GS that looked too new, belts neatly tied, hair braided tight. Their mother, Maya Miles, watched from the doorway, her expression a mixture of pride and nerves. "Remember," she whispered softly, "confidence doesn't mean shouting. It means knowing you belong here." The dojo belonged to Sensei Nakamura, a stern but respected martial artist who had taught for decades. His students idolized him, especially the black belt seniors who carried themselves like kings of the mat. Among them was Brent, a tall 17-year-old with a smirk that often hid cruelty, and Kara, his equally confident partner, who had earned her belt through skill and intimidation. The moment Brent noticed the twins, he exchanged a smirk with Kara. "New recruits," he muttered. They looked soft. The twins walked forward, bowing respectfully. "We're here for the beginner's class," Jaden said, his tone polite but clear. Sensei Nakamura's dark eyes studied them. "Discipline begins with humility," he said, gesturing toward the line of white belts. "Fall in." As the class began, the twins mirrored every move, sharp punches, balanced stances, crisp blocks, but there was something about the way they moved that caught the eye. It wasn't just precision, it was rhythm. Their motions were synchronized, instinctive, like two halves of one fighter. The other students began whispering. Even Sensei Nakamura's eyebrow lifted slightly. During a short break, Brent approached them, a towel hanging over his shoulder. "You two think you're special?" he said with a half smile. "This isn't some playground. You don't just walk in here and move like that." Jaden met his gaze quietly. "We're just learning," he replied, calm but unshaken. Jordan added, "Everyone starts somewhere." Brent's smile thinned. "Yeah, some start lower than others," Kara laughed from behind him, folding her arms. "Maybe they should prove they belong here," she said, loud enough for the others to hear. The room fell silent. The twins exchanged a quick glance, uncertain. Sensei Nakamura, overhearing, turned sharply. "Enough, Kara," he said. "Respect is the foundation of this place." But the tone in the room had already changed. When class ended, the twins stayed behind to help put away the pads. Brent and Kara lingered too. "You know," Brent said, circling them, "around here, we earn respect. We don't just get it handed to us." Jaden kept stacking pads. "We're not looking for trouble." "Good," Brent sneered. "Because trouble finds weak ones first." He shoved Jordan's shoulder lightly, not enough to be called a hit, but enough to send a message. Jordan didn't react. He just stared back, calm as stone. That calmness irritated Brent more than any retaliation would have. "You got something to say?" he taunted. Jordan finally replied, "You'll see what we have to say when the time's right." Later that night, as they walked home under the amber glow of streetlights, their mother asked quietly, "How was your first class?" Jaden hesitated. "It was okay." Jordan, his jaw tightening, said, "Some people don't want us there." Maya sighed softly. "Then make sure they have no choice but to see you." The twins had learned that lesson long before karate, back when their father was alive. He'd been a soldier, quiet but fierce, and he'd taught them not to fight for pride, but for purpose. Every night, before bed, they'd shadowbox together in the living room, laughing and moving in perfect sync. Now, those nights felt distant, but his voice echoed still. Courage isn't about being loud. It's about not backing down when silence would be easier. At the dojo the next day, Sensei Nakamura announced a demonstration match, a friendly sparring session for practice. "Volunteers?" he asked. Brent's hand shot up immediately. Then, with a smirk, he nodded toward the twins. "I'll take one of the new kids. Let's see what they've got." The class buzzed with anticipation. Jordan stepped forward, silent but ready. As they bowed, Brent leaned closer and whispered, "Don't embarrass yourself." The match began. Brent came in fast. A sweeping kick meant to intimidate, not to land cleanly. Jordan dodged smoothly, pivoting with quiet precision. The room murmured. Brent attacked again, this time harder, a spinning back fist. Jordan ducked under it, countering with a swift but controlled palm strike that stopped just short of Brent's chest. Clean, balanced, perfect form. Sensei Nakamura's eyes sharpened. "Enough," he said. "That's enough." Brent stepped back, cheeks red, breathing heavy. "Lucky move," he muttered. Jordan bowed silently. "Respect," he said simply. But the tension didn't die after class. Brent's ego had been bruised, and in a place where dominance was currency, that wound burned deep. As the twins left, they heard whispers. "They're too good for beginners. Did you see that counter?" Nakamura's watching them. That night, the air outside was heavy with rain. Inside their small apartment, Jaden and Jordan trained quietly, moving through forms in unison. The rain pounded the windows like a drumbeat. "You think they'll try something?" Jaden asked between breaths. Jordan nodded. "Yeah, and when they do, we'll be ready." Across town, in a dimly lit parking lot outside the dojo, Brent and Kara were waiting by their cars, talking in low voices. "You saw how Nakamura looked at them," Kara said. "If they keep showing off, we'll be forgotten." Brent clenched his fists. "Then we remind everyone who runs that dojo." He didn't know it yet, but the twins weren't just disciplined students. They had a fire that came from deeper pain, and the next few days would light that fire into something unstoppable. The storm outside grew louder, lightning flashing across the city skyline. And somewhere in that moment, under thunder and rain, the story of Jaden and Jordan Miles was just beginning to burn. By the time the next week rolled around, the whispers in the dojo had turned into open stares. The twins had become the quiet storm everyone noticed. They didn't boast, didn't brag, but every move they made spoke louder than any words could. Their precision unnerved some and impressed others, and Sensei Nakamura had begun quietly watching them with a thoughtful expression that no one could quite read. The afternoon light poured through the windows again, but this time the energy in the room was heavier. Brent stretched in the corner with Kara, whispering. "Nakamura is favoring them," he said. "He asked them to help demonstrate forms this morning." "You ever seen him do that with beginners?" Kara shook her head. "He's setting them up to replace us." Brent's smirk was gone now, replaced by something darker. "Not if I remind everyone who's in charge." When class began, the twins performed flawlessly. Sensei Nakamura called them forward to demonstrate blocking sequences. The room was silent except for the sound of feet sliding and GI cloth snapping with each strike. "Excellent," Nakamura said. "Balance, respect, focus. This is the foundation of mastery." Brent clapped slowly. "Yeah, focus," he muttered, stepping forward. "Maybe they can show us how to focus." "When things get real," Sensei Nakamura's eyes narrowed. "Brent, this is not." But before he could finish, Brent dropped into a stance. "Let's make it interesting." Twins versus black belts. He nodded toward Kara, who stepped up beside him with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. The class went quiet. A few gasped. "That's not fair," someone whispered. Nakamura hesitated, then sighed. "No points, no harm. Controlled spar. Respect at all times. Understood?" The twins bowed. "Understood, Sensei." The match began with the sound of bare feet brushing the mat. Brent came in first, his speed impressive, striking with the confidence of someone used to dominating. Jaden met him halfway, blocking with perfect timing, while Jordan anticipated Kara's movements, spinning gracefully away from her roundhouse kick. The crowd murmured, awe mixed with disbelief. Brent struck again, harder. His punch grazed Jaden's cheek, a warning shot. Jaden didn't flinch. He countered with a low sweep, forcing Brent off balance. Kara attacked from the side, but Jordan blocked with both arms, absorbing the impact and spinning her momentum back against her. Kara stumbled, shocked. Sensei Nakamura's voice broke through the noise. "Enough!" But the fight had already crossed the line. Brent lunged again, anger flaring. This time, Jaden ducked and countered with a controlled strike that landed squarely on Brent's chest, knocking him backward. The thud echoed through the dojo. Everyone froze. For a moment, only the sound of breathing filled the room. Then Brent stood slowly, his pride more bruised than his body. "You got lucky," he hissed. "Next time I won't hold back." Jaden bowed respectfully. "You should always hold back, if you're afraid of what might happen when you don't." The words cut deeper than any strike. After class, Sensei Nakamura called the twins into his office. "Where did you learn to move like that?" he asked quietly. Jordan looked at the floor. "Our dad taught us before he died," Nakamura nodded slowly. "He must have been a disciplined man," Jaden replied. "He believed fighting was never about anger. It was about peace." Nakamura's gaze softened. "Then he taught you well, but be careful. Strength attracts challenge, and challenge tests character." Outside, Brent and Kara waited in the parking lot again, their expressions unreadable. "They're hiding something," Kara said. "No one learns like that overnight." Brent's jaw tightened. "Then we'll find out what." The next day, as the twins walked home after practice, they noticed a black car idling at the corner. The windows were tinted. It pulled out slowly, following them for a block, then another. Jaden whispered, "You see that?" Jordan nodded. "Keep walking." They turned down a side street, then another, and when they looked back, the car was gone. But that night, as they entered their apartment, they found the door slightly ajar. Their mother's voice came from inside, calm, but firm. "Who are you?" A man stood near the table, tall, in his 40s, with sharp eyes and a quiet authority. "My name is Marcus Lee," he said. "I'm a friend of your father." The twins froze. Their mother turned to them. "He says he trained with your father in the army," she said. Marcus nodded. "He did, and I came because—" "I think someone found out who your father really was." Jaden frowned. "What do you mean?" Marcus looked out the window before speaking. "Your father wasn't just a soldier. He was part of a classified defense unit, one that taught specialized combat to international peacekeepers. He left that life to raise you two in peace. But the techniques he taught, the rhythm, the synchronization, those weren't standard. They were part of something bigger." The room fell silent. Rain began tapping against the windows again. Jordan finally spoke. "You're saying people know about us?" Marcus nodded. "Yes, and some may want to test if what your father taught you was real." The next morning, when they arrived at the dojo, the atmosphere felt different. Whispers stopped when they entered. Brent and Kara were already there, standing beside a new instructor in a dark GI, a man neither twin had seen before. Sensei Nakamura stood off to the side, his expression tight. "This is Sensei Harlow," Nakamura announced. "He's visiting from the regional academy. He'll be observing today's advanced session." Harlow's eyes swept over the class, stopping briefly on the twins. "I've heard interesting things about you too," he said, voice smooth but edged with curiosity. "I'd like to see for myself." The class began, and under Harlow's watchful gaze, the twins executed every movement flawlessly. But as the drills grew more advanced, Harlow called them forward. "Let's test your reaction time," he said, removing his black belt and setting it aside. "Attack me." The room went dead silent. The twins looked to Sensei Nakamura, who gave a reluctant nod. Jaden moved first, a controlled jab. Harlow blocked it easily. Jordan followed with a spinning kick. Harlow dodged, countered, and nearly swept Jaden off his feet. "Good," Harlow said softly. "But you're holding back." He attacked suddenly. Faster, harder, not like a drill, but like a real fight. The twins moved instinctively, their rhythm matching perfectly. One blocked while the other countered, their movements fluid, synchronized, unstoppable. Harlow's smirk faded as he barely deflected a strike aimed at his midsection. The room erupted in gasps. When it ended, both twins stood steady while Harlow straightened his GI, breathing slightly heavier. "Remarkable," he said quietly. "That style. It's not traditional karate." Sensei Nakamura looked from Harlow to the twins, realization dawning. It's something older, he murmured. Later, as the class dismissed, Harlow pulled Brent and Kara aside. They're dangerous, he said. Don't provoke them unless you're ready to face the consequences. But his warning only fueled Brent's resentment. They don't belong here, he muttered. And I'll prove it. That night, the twins found an envelope slipped under their door. Inside was a note written in black ink. If you're so strong, meet us behind the dojo after class tomorrow. Let's see what you're really made of. No signature. But they didn't need one. They already knew. Jaden folded the note carefully. They're not going to stop, he said. Jordan's voice was calm, steady. Then tomorrow we finish this, once and for all.